Hello again guys, and welcome to the extension of our NPC actor tutorial. So this one will be so that the NPC actor we've already created, we're going to make a duplicate of that, and this duplicate is going to ask us for the amount of gems needed in order to fire an event. It's quite quick to add to our already made NPC actor, so I'm going to get straight to it. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to our NPC character that we've already made, right click and create a duplicate, and I'm going to call this guy NPC underscore quest giver. So nice and simple, right click and save that. And what we're going to do isn't going to be too complicated at all. It's basically just adding a couple more variables and a branch, and that's about it. We're going to be copying some of the blueprints we've already made for this. So this is our NPC quest giver now. Like I say, it's inherited everything from the NPC actor that we already made. I'm just going to move this down a little bit, just so we've got a bit of space. Right, okay, so the first thing we're going to do is, if I just open the text, we're going to create some more variables, the ones that we're going to need. The first one is going to be gems needed. So this is how many gems or mushrooms the player will need in order to complete this quest. We're going to change it from a boolean to an integer, and we're going to make it visible. So that's the first one. And now we need two more. We need a win text and a win text duration. So I'm going to right click our text to say, I'm going to duplicate that and call that win text. I'm only going to have it being one line, so I'm going to change it from an array to a single line. So we duplicate our line duration. I'm going to call this win text duration, and that also no longer needs to be an array for me, because I'm just going to have the one line that will be said when you win. So I'm going to compile and I'm going to save. So now if we go to our world and we drag in an NPC quest giver, you'll see that we now have gems needed, and we have win text and win text duration. So that's the first step. It's quite an easy step. The next step is just going to be, like I say, tinkering with the blueprints that we've already created. I'm going to select up to the set collision enabled, and I'm going to drag those to the left so we've got a bit of space to add the blueprints that will say whether the player has the gems that are required to complete the quest. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a branch. So I'm going to press B and click, and that brings in a branch. Alternatively, you can right click, type in branch. Ooh, it helps if you spell it correctly, and it's just a branch. And we're going to connect that up. Okay, so what we want this branch to check is if the player has the gems that are needed. So if you remember, if we go to our Hammer Girl blueprint, in collectibles we set up a gem count. So I'm just going to call this gem count in the NPC quest giver. Now in order to do this, if you right click, type in cast to, and I want the player BP. So this is it. And off the object I'm going to drag out and get player pawn. Yep, pawn, because we want to be checking the actual player that is in the world. So we don't have to cast through this, I'm going to right click and I'm going to convert it to a pure cast. So now I no longer have to cast through it, I can just get the object that I need, and I need to get the gem count. So now I've got the gem count, I want to check it against the gems needed. So if I bring in gems needed, get, and we want to right click, equal to integer. So we want to check these against each other, and the result of that whether it's true or false. So if it's true, that means the player has enough gems, so they will have completed the quest. And if false, the player would have failed the test or the quest. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in false, and off true I'm just going to do a delay of 0.2 seconds, just so, and if I do a print string, and that's going to say hello. So if this is successful, if the player does have enough gems in order to finish the quest, when you enter the guy's sphere, it will check to see if you've got the right amount of gems. If you do, you've completed the quest, and if you don't, he will do his looping text. So if I compile and save, go to my level, so my text to say, do 2 lines, is going to be, I want 3 gems, give me 3 gems, and do 3 seconds each on those, and I'm going to have it looping the win text. We're not actually calling that at the minute, so we don't need to worry about this, but the gems needed, because we're asking for 3 in the text, we're going to say we want 3 gems. So save all, save selected, and I'm going to press play. So if I walk into this guy, I want 3 gems. So he's going to keep saying that until the player brings him 3 gems. If we walk out, he'll stop saying his text. So the only way to test to see if the fact if we give him 3 gems works is to go to our collectibles, and I'm just going to drag in 3 gems over here, collect those, and I'm going to check now, and it said hello in the top left up here, so that means he has actually now finished the quest. So that's that done. Sweet. So we don't want it to just print string in the top left hand corner. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do some additional blueprints, and we want to drag in our speech text, and we're just going to do the same as before, set text, and now if the player has completed the quest, we're going to set the text to be the win text. We need to set the visibility of the text visible, so I'm just going to Control W that one. We need a delay, and this delay will be our win text duration. Delay. And then after the text is finished, we want to turn off our text again, and then when the text is turned off for the first time, this is where I'm going to call the events, so that I can dispatch an event into the world saying the player has finished the quest, take the gems off the player, and then like I said, we can call eventually an event in the world. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to create a sequence, so est and click, and plug that in. Off the bottom, what we want to do is we want to just copy the stop talk and set collision enabled. So that means that my win text will just repeat over and over again. But off the top one, what we're going to do is we're going to do a do once, because we only want to do these actions for one time, and we want to take away the gems that were needed away from the player's collectible number. So again, if we get this, because we want to cast to the player, and we want to set gem. We're going to set the gem amount. Oh, sugar. Set the gem amount, and the gem amount is going to be the current gem amount. So we're going to get our current gem amount and our gems needed, and we're going to take away integer. So swap those around actually. Just do a little bit of a tidy up over here. I don't know if anyone else does, but I've generated major blueprint OCD. Everything has to be as neat as I can get it. Just drag this down. Okay, so do once into the set gem amount. So we're casting to our player. We're getting the gems needed, so this is the number that we set in the world. We're getting the gem count of the player, and then we're going to take those away from each other, and we're going to set the gem count of the player. And the last thing we're going to do is, down here in the event dispatchers, I'm going to add an event dispatcher, and I'm going to call this gems paid. So now if I drag this in, and I'm going to call it. Now I can call this or reference this in my level blueprints. So for instance, if the player has paid the gems, open this gate. So I'll just show you a quick example in the world. I'm going to save. I'm going to go to our level 1. Win text is going to be thanks for the gems, buddy. Put that on for 5 seconds. If we click the player, and if we open up our blueprints, open level blueprint, so we're opening up our level blueprint, we're going to make a reference to the actor. So if you hold down R and click, we're not actually going to make a reference to the actor. It's easier if with the actor selected, if you right click, add event, go into default and add gems paid. So now we've got this event that will fire when it fires inside the quest giver. So when this fires here, we're now going to be able to fire init R level blueprints, so we can print string. So you paid the gems. Compile. Okay. You won't actually have to do this just yet, but my HUD won't update straight away because I've not called update HUD. So I'm just going to call update HUD in here. Like I say, you guys won't have to do this yet until we've added the HUD to your levels. Compile and save. So now, if I press, I'm just going to save all. If I press play, I'm going to walk up to my NPC actor. He wants his 3 gems, so we're going to go and get him his 3 gems. 1, 2, 3. So now, when we pay this NPC actor with our 3 gems, he'll say his win text. Once he's said his win text and the delay's been, we should lose our 3 from the HUD, and we should also fire an event in our level that we'll call a print string saying gems paid. So hopefully this is going to work. Thanks for the gems, buddy. So after the first one of that, we paid our gems and it set my counter back to 0. So that's how easy it is to now implement and call events from our NPC actor. So instead of just calling that print string, I could have had a gate, like I say, in my level that would open when I paid those gems, allowing access further on into your levels. So I hope you followed this tutorial. Like I say, it was just an extension on the NPC actor. And thank you very much for watching, and see you guys later.